Hey you guys, and welcome to my channel, and assalamu alaikum to my Muslim subscribers and viewers. It is the very end of my day, you guys, and I'm feeling much better than I was 2 days ago. I had a visit to my doctor. It's like clockwork. Every spring, the last 3 years, I've had to go and deal with these allergies and they get me straight. And, within a matter of 1 or 2 days, I'm just feeling better. So I'm very thankful for that. I have good doctors. I always tend to be blessed in that way. But either way, you guys, this is a very serious video and I felt very nudged to put this content up. So I hope that this is helping somebody on their journey, okay? Things you need to hear after narcissistic abuse because, it's a very traumatic experience when you experience narcissistic abuse, and especially right after, you're all over the place. And on this channel, I always want to help you keep your perspective and to ground you in truth and to help level out your emotions with logic as much as possible, okay? So I don't want this video to be too long, you guys, and I'm pretty good at getting straight to the point as I'm a very direct person. So I have 20 things here on my list, and so we're going to go ahead and just go on through that list. Number 1, your life ain't over unless it literally is. And some of these things that I tell you, it may be something that comes the most fullest of circle to you in hindsight, meaning as you go through the healing process or you get over the hump to what we would call the sweet spot of healing from narcissistic abuse, where you're out of your detriment and you've been able to really minimize the effects of that experience, okay? But yeah, your life ain't over unless it literally is now. You'll learn that tomorrow is another day, inshallah. Inshallah is just an Arabic word that means God willing, okay? A lot of people feel like their life is over because of this experience, all right? But it ain't. Your life ain't over unless it literally is, baby, okay? Keep your perspective. Your life ain't over. Even if it feels horrible, you feel devastated, it feels dramatic, and it pulls out all these ranges of emotions, but your life ain't over unless it literally is. All right, tomorrow is another day, inshallah. Number 2, you guys, is not starting over if you take your lessons, okay? This is a situation where you can turn your pain into power. You can turn this experience into wisdom. Okay, so you're not starting over because you know more than you did before you knew that shady person, don't you? You learned some very important things out of this situation, hopefully. So you are not starting over. You're more refined. You're more wise. Yes, you paid a price to get that wisdom, but nonetheless, you have it now. Okay, you earned it the long way. All right. Number 3, you guys, it was going to end anyway. This person was temporary, or at least I would say they're meant to be temporary in your life for a season. They're meant to be lessons that will lead to your blessings and your glow up. Yeah. So it was going to end anyway. There's no need to get stuck into woulda, coulda, shouldas. The way things played out, we'll start thinking from the beginning, and we're, just working our way through the whole relationship, and it was going to end. There was nothing you could do to stop that ending. You could drag it out all you want, but it's still going to end because that, you weren't meant to just be tormented your whole life. All right. Number 4, you won by walking away and or staying away, because their assignment on your life was bigger than you think or thought. A lot of times we're stuck in the 3D, you guys, and, we really limit our perceptions of winning. Winning isn't them love bombing somebody else. It isn't them who can get in a relationship first. Winning isn't, that someone stole money from you and now they have more money and it seems like now you have to start over to build your money up again, or whatever this person stole from you. You won ultimately by walking away. because these are spiritual attacks. And the assignment was more than whatever three-dimensional thing you're thinking of right now. It was to really shut your light down, is to really rob you of your destiny and things along those lines. So the fact that you walked away or you're staying away and they're exposed and you don't want to go back, and now you can protect yourself from this energy and similar energies. You won. You won. Even if they had a moment of what they consider to be playing with your time or keeping you distracted, they weren't really. You were learning a lesson. You were being sharpened. You were being prepared for the next stage at that point. Okay? Number 5, you guys. Love still exists, and so do good people. It's very easy in this situation to become bitter, to be pessimistic, to become negative, or forever triggered. But there are billions of people in the world, you guys. Billions. Don't let one experience with a narcissist or a handful of narcissists, even if you feel like you've met them all your life, they'll become a turning point now, because you're going to become the expert, honey. And you'll be able to see these people a mile away. You're going to know how they walk and talk, and you'll be able to protect yourself from them. Okay? Number 6, hermit mode may be useful temporarily, but not forever. You know, an introvert doesn't mean blocking out good and bad people. All right? Because you'll be missing your blessings and even the possibility of redemption, because you can experience a relationship with a narcissist, but you can also have a loving, happy, fulfilling, balanced relationship. It doesn't have to be a perfect one, because you need 2 perfect people for that, right? But it can be very satisfying for you. And it can be night and day to that experience with the narcissist. But if you're in hermit mode forever, because I said it may be useful temporarily in the beginning, particularly in a certain kind of way. Not being around a whole bunch of people, just your immediate support system, you know. But yeah, you don't want to block everyone out and miss your blessings. And how can you get to that much better relationship if you don't even be open to new people, all right, at some point. We're not in a rush, but yeah, hermit mode may be useful temporarily, you know, in a nutshell, but not forever. All right. Number 7, pour into yourself like never before. You know, when we walk out of narcissistic abuse, it's easy to be feeling drained or depleted, of course, exhausted, even depressed. But pour into yourself like never before. It means your sleep hygiene, your diet, your exercising, your relaxation, you know, not running yourself to the ground, allowing yourself space and time to breathe in the fresh air, you know, and just doing the things that relax you and de-stress you in a positive way. Yes. All right. Number 8, find the light. Find the light. You know what? Let me go back to 7. I'm being guided to go back to number 7 to just say furthermore, a lot of times in these relationships with the narcissist, we were in a codependent relationship and we were looking for other people to pour into us in a certain way. And we probably weren't even pouring into ourselves efficiently or even in that way. So all that energy we were taking from ourselves to focus on that narcissist, turn it back inward. Give that to yourself and then some. So you have the energy that you already given to yourself, and you have the energy coming back to you that you were putting on another person, an undeserving person, right? Now I can move on. Find the light, you guys. And when I say find the light, I mean find the positive, okay? It's easy to be swallowed by their darkness, you know, in the dark state that they want to pull you into and keep you in. But find something positive. It's very easy to dwell on all the things that you feel like didn't go right. find the positives. Make sure you're finding gratitude to balance out your negative perspectives. All right. Number 9, therapy and wellness is your friend. Whether it's the traditional kind of therapy, getting coaching, and or both, in any type of therapy. There's all types of therapies. Like, I like ASMR. That's a form of therapy to me. A lot of times at night, I will listen to it as I fall asleep. Especially I like nail tapping, I like water, ASMR. I even like the luxury ones with Trish, where she has like all the Louis Vuitton bags and, all of that type of stuff. Pretty dope. But, music therapy, art can be a therapy. Lots of things can be therapeutic. Even scents can be therapeutic. Ambiances can be therapeutic. So therapy and wellness is your friend. All right. Making sure you're taking your proper vitamins, getting proper nutrition. Massages go under this. Yeah. So you're talking to someone that loves to get like 90-minute foot massages. Child, yes. So therapy and wellness is your friend, and educating yourself on all the different ways, all the different types of therapy and wellness. There's water therapy, man, people have rage rooms. They consider that a therapy where you can really just go and release energies. So writing can be therapeutic. Look, we can keep going on and on with this. All right, we can keep going on and on with this. Sometimes just being out in nature is therapeutic. All right, your food can be therapeutic. There are foods that are proven to increase happiness inside of you, or help you release those type of hormones. So just look into that type of stuff. All right, educate yourself and see what works for you. Come up with a therapy plan that works for you. All right. And there's free therapy here on the channel, of course. That goes without saying. Over 1,000 videos touching on this topic to help you out. All right. I'm not new to this. I'm true to it. So lots of content here to help you on your journey. Number 10, you guys, examine your thoughts with logic. All right. For years, I've told you guys to balance out your logic and feelings. And of course, just because we feel something doesn't make it true. But it's still a feeling. All right. So does it make sense? What is it stemming off of? And so forth and so on. All right. Now's a good time to probably journal and just write these thoughts down. Like, well, then why am I feeling that way? What's behind it? It's okay to do the healing process. We want to uncover these things and get to the bottom of it, and then figure out, what is the logic behind it as well. All right. Or how do we rectify this? Number 11, you guys, you don't need nothing else from that narcissist. This is important. And this is how you stay, generally you can stay no contact. And I know there are some situations where there may be children involved. You could be going through a divorce, or could be a family member that you're gonna see at family functions, and there's different things. Someone that you might work with, So there are times where you can't go completely no contact, but the idea of number 11 here is you don't need nothing from them now. Whether you have to see them or kind of generally be near their energy, even if you're not necessarily associating with it so much, you don't need nothing else from them. Not an apology, not an acknowledgement, none of that. Okay, you don't need to see them suffer. Like, you don't need to see them get karma. You don't need nothing else from them. And whatever you are granted, you will see in due time, if that's what it is for you. Okay? But you don't need nothing else from them. All right? Number 12, lean on God, of course. Narcissistic abuse is a spiritual attack, okay? So prayer and meditation, staying prayed up, people don't say that for nothing. Someone could be literally evil eyeing you right now. Pray every day throughout the day. That's why, in Islam, I love it. We pray 5 times a day. What's touching us, really? What is touching us? All right. Number 13, you're not damaged goods. All right. You're not damaged goods because of your experience, but you can become damaged psychologically due to not properly addressing the trauma and the abuse. That's what could happen. But generally speaking, you're not damaged goods, but people they'll allow themselves to stay damaged psychologically due to not properly addressing, again, the trauma and abuse. But you're not damaged goods for any other reason, okay? Number 14, you guys, you are enough, okay? You're always going to be enough, you guys, for the right person or the right people or the right organization. Like I say a lot of times, an open door, alhamdulillah, meaning praise to God. A closed door, alhamdulillah. Everything is for your good, but you are enough. Shoot, a closed door is because it could be they're not enough. They're not ready. They're not worthy. They're going to get in the way. So, we can't limit the no's. Sometimes your value is hidden from the people who would just take advantage of you, just try to snake you anyway. So God ain't going to allow them to see everything they need to see, because they're going to target you more for that. He's going to blind them, let them get distracted somewhere else, moving them out of your path and out of your way. So we got to see the blessing of that. You are enough. All right. And we always have to consider the source as well, you guys. Why would you want to be a superstar to a narcissist? You're not truly a superstar in that way. All right. You don't want to be seen, like I said in the other video, as nice to a narcissist. You have to forfeit and give up to get in that category with them. Nah, I'm good. But you are enough. Just because they took it for granted, just because they didn't reciprocate, that says everything about them and who they are, their character and integrity, not you. You are enough, okay? You're too much. They didn't even know how to handle you, what to do with you. Come on, all right? You are enough for the right people, the right person, and the right organization. So don't you worry about that. Their rejection is your protection, or your rejection of them is your protection, all right? Number 15, you are a warrior, okay? They're the weak ones. Abusing people makes you small, not big, okay? Manipulating, taking advantage of people, having bad character and integrity, that makes you small, not big. But being able to let go of the situation and walk away and still do what you have to do, still live your life, still improve, take your lessons, you are a warrior. You're not afraid to face yourself. You're doing the work. You're taking accountability for whatever you should take accountability for. You're a warrior, okay? Definitely a spiritual one. It takes a strong person to do that, A weak, petty person can, lie, manipulate, cheat, steal, make fun of, and that's a weak, small-minded person, So just know that you're a warrior. Number 16, you are never by yourself. A lot of times people feel very lonely because they look around and they realize who's had my back? Who's in my corner? Who can I really trust in my life? You could find yourself in that situation when you experience narcissistic abuse, and especially if they've been able to get you to isolate yourself as well from the people who do love you. You can always reconnect with them, of course, and the people for you will still be there with open arms. But when I say you're never alone, for me, it's a very higher level of spirituality. All right. You have guardian angels. You have ancestors. You have God, you know, protecting you in ways you never even knew. Okay? You were never alone. You were never alone. Period. We get so caught up in the dunya, which is the world, and the 3D, and that's all we could think. Like, you're never alone. You are never alone. Okay? Number 17, you guys. Abuse is not who you are, it's what you experience. You know, don't put that on you. You know, don't label yourself. And I understand some people, you know, they can each one teach one. And this is something that I do. But it's not who I am. You know, it's something that I've learned from. You know, me sharing my experiences, sharing my wisdom. That's just me turning those lemons into lemonade and each one teach one, like I said. But I'm not my abuse. But it is something I experience, you know? Some people can't even talk 5 minutes about themselves without jumping into their abuse and stuff. It's not who you are, it's what you experienced. Okay? Or, you know, 20 years later, is still talking about this abuse. It's not who you are, it is what you experience. All right? Number 18, you guys. You don't have to forgive them, but you will have to forgive yourself. I don't come from the rule of thumb where I force people to forgive their abusers. You don't have to forgive them. But you should forgive yourself, because people are often most hard on themselves. And, you know, they crack down even harder. I should have seen this. I should have known better. And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, no, you don't have to forgive them. And that may sound contrary to some, but you will have to forgive yourself. And it's one of the things that I love about Islam too, if I would say that for a moment, is not a turn the other cheek religion. You know, Christianity, and I'm not poking, if you're a Christian, you're a Christian. But it's like Christianity teaches you to turn your cheek. Forgive them 77 times, you know, and give them, you know, turn the cheek. You know how many smacks you gonna get? No. Islam does not preach to forgive them. But everywhere you go, you will be. You have to do life with yourself, whether you like it or not. This is the body. This is the vessel. Yeah. As long as you're in it. So you might as well forgive yourself. Okay? And free up some space in your mind, because we can't change the past, but we can learn from it. All right? All that woulda, coulda, shoulda don't matter. Can't go back, can't change it, but we can be better moving forward. So forgive yourself. You know, don't force yourself to have to be forgiving them, your abuser. You know, if you never forgive them, you just don't. You can still actually heal to this out of your detriment without forgiving them. All right? Number 19, you guys. You will never forget about this experience, but you can generally manage the long-term effects. You know, I think people think they have some unrealistic ideas about what healing is. Healing is not, it's not forgetting it. How are you going to forget something so traumatic and devastating? Now, let me pause for a second. There is a psychological thing that can happen where people get abused and they block it out of their mind. That's something completely different. They get so traumatized that their mind actually locks it in somewhere, and they forget, like, dang, what was the person's name? Like, simple things. Like, they just, you know, their soul was so violated mentally that the brain is trying to help protect you by holding that memory hostage somewhere in there. And you can't remember certain details, you know. That's not what I'm talking about right now. But I'm just talking about having a realistic expectations on the healing process, you guys. It's not about forgetting it, because forgetting it means forgetting the lessons too. We're taking the lessons, but it's about managing, understanding what the triggers are in the situation, what it was, and doing the proper therapy to work through that, okay? And minding the story that you're telling yourself, and hopefully, the idea is you're shifting from the story starting out is sounding very victimish to, getting to survivor to thriver, okay? All right. And the last thing I have for this video, you guys, is God saw everything. Honey, he saw it all. Take comfort in that. Nobody, people, they could fool other people, but they can never fool God. They can never fool him. And that's a microphone drop in itself. Like, there's a lot of comfort you could take from that. God saw everything. He saw the stuff you seen. He seen the stuff that was happening behind your back. He knows what's going to happen in the future. He saw it all into beginning to the end. He saw it all. That person hasn't gotten away with nothing. Even if they think they have in their brain, trust me, honey, they have not gotten away. Because, again, we're very stuck in a 3D in this dunya. But this ain't all that our souls experience. There is a higher power over everything. And God saw it all. Trust me. That person will have to answer one way or another, whether they're ignorant enough to even see that they're already answering for it or not, or whether it seems like that day has come for them or not. You don't worry about that. But take a massive amount of comfort in knowing that God saw it. And especially if you rock with him. Okay? He saw it, man. He saw it. And trust me, he ain't gonna let nobody hurt his kids. You just stay out of the way. And you stay obedient to him. There were times where people betrayed me. And I'm human just like everyone else. I'm like, you know what? That's not cool. But there were times where God told me to, I don't want you to do this, or I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to act this way. I don't want you to retaliate in this way or that way. And I'm obedient to him. Even if it's against my human side, If he tells me something, I have the utmost faith and trust on it. I meditate on this and that. Yeah. I listen. And definitely doesn't mean you don't defend yourself and stuff. Like, number one, you're defending yourself ultimately by getting away. All right, and closing them out. That is the ultimate. But, of course, there are other things that people can do at times. And do them. If you feel led to do it, you feel like that's what God wants you to do, absolutely. Woo, child. Oh, on that note. Oh my gosh, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning? Oh no. I gotta keep my sleep hygiene good because I be having very full days in a good way. But you're gonna be all right. All right? You're gonna be all right. This too shall pass if you allow it to. All right? If you allow it to, you're gonna be all right. All right? There's a lot of content on here. I think I have a playlist. If I could put a couple of playlists to the tag to the end of this, give me a moment to do that because I'm gonna upload this from my cell phone. But I'll circle back around and upload some helpful playlists for your healing journey because it's a lot. It's a lot. But this is a great channel and a great resource for you if you believe you have experienced narcissistic abuse or a very traumatic experience, okay? Over 1,000 videos to help you here. I still got to get my website up, you guys, because I will be offering coaching again. I've given it to on every continent, man. There was a time in my life where that's all I did full time was the channel and coaching. And that was actually pretty amazing and very fulfilling. Man, like I said, I've talked to people on every continent and it was amazing, you know? But, and if that's something that you're interested in too, just stay tuned, you guys. Sooner than later, I'll have that website back up again, all right? But you take care of yourself, all right? You never give up on yourself, honey, all right? And until next time, please take care.